Welcome to the Offshore Club's fun-filled, fact-filled, fast-paced, blockbuster podcast, Coffee with Carib Carter, coming to you exclusively from where the sun never sets on the good life at a great price. And now, fill up your favorite coffee mug and join your expert and your guide, Carib Carter Clues.
Hello, and welcome to, here we go, Coffee with Carib Carter. Wow. We're up to episode 83. I hope you watched all of them. If not, you can go back and, well, maybe you won't. We'll just keep them coming. And today, speaking of keeping them coming, if you could see my desk, I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks of paper. 6 stacks. I'm not saying single sheet. I'm talking, bunch of stuff. But I'm going to still hold it right around, 40 minutes, 45, whatever. Not going to, if we can't get through it all, we'll save some for next week. And I don't want to be, years ago, I was friends with Dr. Reverend Ralph Abernathy. Now, some of you may remember him. He was Martin Luther King's top aide, okay? Now, when I met Dr. Abernathy, he was getting up in years, okay? But he was a wonderful man. I mean, it was a thrill for me, a historical figure, and I got to know him pretty well. And, I had watched him up there with Martin Luther King leading the civil rights movement, the I Have a Dream speech, the whole thing. He was with Dr. King when he was assassinated. So it was like, I was blown away, but he was such a nice guy that you got to know him immediately. I remember one day he told me a story about a pastor friend of his, right, who tended to preach long sermons. My father used to preach a little overtime, to be honest with you. He was a minister. And Dr. Abernathy said that after one of his friend's long sermons, he said he went up to a parishioner and said, I really fed the sheep today, didn't I? I really fed the sheep. And the parishioner said, yeah, you did do that, brother. You did feed the sheep. But when you're feeding the sheep, you don't have to feed them the whole bale at one time. Okay. Well, I'm not going to feed you the whole bale at one time. We're going to go through some important stuff, some great stuff, some exciting stuff. We're gonna visit a home. We love our $1,000 listing Caribbean. It's hard to believe. Think of all the homes we've looked at. Incredible homes for prices you can't believe. I always tell you, remember that the Carib Carter 1/10 rule. A home in Central or South America is going to cost you about 1/10 of what it would in the United States. You're going to see that later in this home. 1/10, that is no exaggeration. Whether it's an off-the-grid home, which I know some of you like, a home in a small town like my home in El Calan in Honduras, or a beachfront home like at Grand Pacific or Grand Bayman, Grand Pacific in Nicaragua, Grand Bayman in Belize, or La Ceiba Beach Club, where I have a home in Honduras, and other residential resort community, whichever it is, it's going to cost you about 1/10. I'm telling you, 1/10. So we're going to look at a home, and I'm going to suggest you, don't hesitate to grab this home up, because I'm going to tell you it's not going to last. In Ecuador, I'm going to go into it later, but I can't help myself. I got to tell you, when I discovered this home, I constantly search the internet for places for you to get you the best place possible. And remember, I'm not a realtor. Your club, your offshore club, doesn't make any money off this. This is a service to members, which I know you all love, because I get a lot of nice notes from you and emails and text messages. This is a home that you might want to jump on, because I don't think it's going to stay on the market long. It is too copacetic. That's what I'm used for. All right, so we have that. I have a Carib Carter motivation moment with a guy named David Goggins. Some of you right now are going, oh yeah, David Goggins definitely motivates you. He definitely motivates you. I have about a 3-minute piece from him on when you get to heaven, and a question God might ask you that, as he says, should motivate you while you're still here. So we're going to see that when we get to the end. But first, the first thing I want to do with you, okay, is make sure that you are availing yourself of all of the services your offshore club provides. Okay. I mean, obviously, you watch Coffee with Carib Carter because you're watching it right now every Monday at noon, right? Let me pull out my visual aids here, okay? Because it's really, I think this stuff is really important. All right. But Coffee with Carib Carter, here we go. You recognize this guy. Let me find it here. There we go. I know that guy. Okay. That's what you're watching right now. Every Monday at noon, right? At offshore.club, where we get a chance to visit and talk. And, you know, I get a chance to share with you some of the million and one reasons you want to move to the good life at a great price offshore, and even show you where. Okay. So, and we do interviews right across the board. Well, you know, because you're obviously a viewer, and I thank you for it. I thank you for it. Thank you for it. But don't forget, also on Tuesdays, then we have a podcast. Okay. Leslie at Large in Nicaragua. Okay. She is at Grand Pacifica Residential Resort Community in Nicaragua. Folks, Nicaragua is right now is the place to invest. I'm just giving you that little tip. All right, back to Leslie at Large. And Grand Pacifica is the #1 residential resort community in all of Latin America. Okay, and all of the Caribbean, everywhere down there. It's gorgeous. 3.5 miles of pristine beachfront and restaurants, you know, horseback riding, golf, everything you can imagine. And what Leslie does is every week, she, in her own delightful manner, and I swear to God, when you watch it at noon Tuesday at offshore.club, you're going to see I can't stop laughing when she's talking. She is that delightful. I'm talking personality plus here, okay? She was a beauty pageant person, so you can imagine. And she tells you what it's like if you decide to make your move to a gated residential resort community. Okay, because it really is community. It's community. You know, as I said on an interview with you the other day, what you quickly find when you move into a community like Grand Pacifica, where everything is there, all the amenities, there are no strangers. They're just friends you haven't met yet, and you soon do. Okay, so that's one. Then we talk. Then on Wednesday at offshore.club, Charlotte's Wandering Web, incredible podcast. Wednesday at noon at offshore.club. Charlotte is one of the warmest, most likable people I have ever met in my life. She is in Mexico. She lives in Mexico. She is a nomad. She's lived everywhere. And she tells you, and she lives in a regular community in Mexico. Okay. Because I know some of you are thinking, well, I'd like to live out amongst the indigenous population. Okay. That's what she does. That's what Charlotte does. And she tells you what life is like when you go that route. Folks, at the Offshore Club, we cover the spectrum. We cover the spectrum. Okay. There's nothing left out at your Offshore Club. And she is, by the way, she's also the editor of Escape Artist magazine, escapeartist.com. Go to their website and subscribe to her monthly magazine. It is the best magazine on the international scene, barring none. And I'm not talking pamphlet. I'm talking like 80 to 90 pages of incredible stories and articles and pictures. I think it's like $79 a year or something. It's less than you're spending a month on coffee at Starbucks. So, you know, check it out. That's Wednesday at noon. Then we go to Thursday. See, I told you. Did you know you had this full menu of podcasts and other services at Offshore Club? You do. You really do. On Thursdays, we have Mike Cobb, the offshore investment oracle. Nobody knows offshore investing better than Mike Cobb. Okay. For the past 26 years, he and his partner, Joel Nagel, I'm going to tell you about in just a second, have invested in properties all over the Caribbean. Okay. I think they own 5 or 6 residential resort communities. All right. So he knows of talking so fast, I got my mouth dry. He knows of what he speaks when he talks investments. And every Thursday, this man who is the investment oracle, the offshore investment oracle, he tells you what to look for when you make your investments, where to look. And he just doesn't say, well, invest in my community. No, his advice is across the board. His goal is just to make sure that you invest well and live well when you make your move. That's every Thursday at noon at Offshore Club. And finally, I just got an email this morning from someone who said how much he loved last week's edition, Joel Nagel's Global Wealth Fortress Report. Okay. I told you, Mike is the offshore investment oracle. Joel is the offshore asset protection oracle. Okay. He's also the #1 asset protection attorney in America. His clients are multi-millionaires who pay an arm and a leg for his advice because it's worth it. And every Thursday at noon, I'm getting my days mixed up, aren't I? Mike is Friday at noon, Carter. Friday at noon is Mike. Thursday at noon is Joe Nagel. Okay. I apologize. Watch both of them, so it won't make any difference which it is. But the advice that he gives to the multimillionaires, and gets paid very well to do it, you get free. Absolutely. I swear to God, you get free. I guess we've been doing Joel's show now, podcast, for 8 or 9 months. I can't tell you how much I've learned from it. He's also an economic analyst, the best I've ever seen. And remember, I used to work with the Senate Finance Committee, all those people. This guy, his advice is the best there ever is. So there you have 5 podcasts, 5 in 5 days at noon every day at Offshore Club that cover the spectrum for you of everything you have ever wanted to know about making your move to and living offshore. Done. And, send me any questions you want me to ask these folks. Send to me at Carib Carter, Carib Carter 7, the number 7 at gmail.com, or text me 202-664-6190, and I'll ask you on the show. It's a gold mine. It's a gold mine of information, and a gold mine when it comes to investing your money properly or protecting your money, whatever it is. These 5 podcasts are the key. Plus, you also get every week when you subscribe to the Offshore Club Gazette, when you go to offshore.club to look at these podcasts, click on the free capital FREE newsletter, the Offshore Club Gazette. You'll get it every day. It's incredible information for you. I get a lot of notes from people saying how much they enjoy it. And when you do that, you not only get the daily newsletter, but you get some bonuses. Every Thursday, you get my column. Okay? Every Wednesday. I'm having trouble with my days this week. Every Wednesday, you get Clues, Views. Okay, this is a column that is pretty hard-hitting. I'm just going to tell you. It focuses on what you're going to find when you get offshore, but also what you need to escape from when you get out of the U.S., okay? A lot of it revolves around making sure you have a plan B escape route, which, please, I promise you, is more important every day. Clues, Views that's a column where I don't pull any punches. I give no quarter and take no prisoners, okay? And I think you're going to enjoy it, and I think you're going to find a lot of information you can use there. You also get a couple emails from me every week, okay, on a variety of topics. All right, this is one of the emails here. You'll see that from the desk of Carib Carter. When you see that, you get a couple of those just so I can keep you informed of late-breaking stuff, special offers, some information that I know you need and you need to know now. You get emails from me every week, okay? Every week. And I think you're going to find them enjoyable. Plus one more thing. Let me get my breath. One more thing. Every day on all the social media, I post the Carib Carter Minute. There's 2 of them right there, okay? Every day. Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. Every day. These are about 5 to 7 minutes, okay, where I just share with you what I think is some urgent information for you on straight to camera videos every day, just for you to take a look at. I get a lot of nice comments. I appreciate that from those who watch them. I appreciate it. And it's part of the full spectrum of services you get from your offshore club. So there we go. I just needed to take a little time just to fill you in on this, because I don't want you to miss anything. I don't want you to miss anything. So go to offshoreclub.com and make sure you subscribe to the newsletter, because then that will help make sure you get the access to the podcast, or on the website, you can click on whatever podcast you want to watch. They are all there, and they're all pretty good. They're not just pretty good. They are real good. They are real good podcasts. Okay. Tremendous information, fun, enjoyable, sometimes exciting. It's all there for you at your offshore club. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. And I think you're going to see it becomes a really exciting part and an engaging part of your lifestyle. Okay. Even a vital part of your lifestyle. As you make a decision whether to invest or move or whatever offshore, everything you need is right there at your offshore club, and all those publications and videos that I just showed you. So there you go. Okay. Now, where should you move? Where should you move? How about, here we go. Let me see if I can pronounce it right this time. It's hard to believe. I lived in Spain. I lived in Honduras. My wife is Honduran, and I still butcher Spanish. I think, you know what I think it is? I remember years ago, I'll make this quick because I promised you I was not going to feed you the whole bale of hay at one sitting. Years ago, I was the chairman of Republicans Abroad in Spain. Okay. I know sometimes you all like to hear, well, what do you do before you suddenly appeared on our screen here? I was the chairman of Republicans Abroad in Spain, lived in Madrid, right above the Retiro. And I was at a reception with President Reagan. Okay. And he said, well, I hear you're the Republican representative in Spain. I said, yes, sir, I am. He said, well, then I take it that Spanish must be your second language. And I told him, no, actually, it's not. I said, Mr. President, I was raised in Baltimore City. When you're raised in Baltimore City, English is your second language. Okay, so that may help explain why my Spanish is so bad, which I wanted to warn you of before we get to the name of the town where we're going to look at the home, which I think you're going to love, because, and you're going to love the town too, okay? We are going to Cotacachi. I got it. Cotacachi. My wife told me how to say it. Cotacachi, Ecuador. There we go. You know, we always like to go to vivian.com. Okay. And you see the little number up there? See the little number up there? Yep. I'm going in the wrong direction here. That's the number. You go in the little white box in the upper right-hand corner at vivian.com, type in that number, and it is going to take you to this incredible condo that we are going to look at now at an incredible price. Did you see the price? I want you to see that price up front. $93,500 with financing available. You cannot lose on this house, both in terms of cash flow and equity appreciation. Think about that. Think about that. Okay. So first, let's step back. You know, we always like to do the long view first, right? And then we move on and we get a little closer in to take a look at the property itself. So let's do that right now. Here we go. We're going to I told you I had a lot of papers. Getting all mixed up here. We're going to Ecuador. See Ecuador? We're going to fly into Ecuador there. Right on the, there we go, little tiny country above Peru, under Colombia. Very, very, very peaceful, safe, serene country, okay? We're going specifically to, get rid of that. You know, I like to move in closer and closer. We're going specifically to right there in Ecuador. That's where Cotacachi is located, okay? It's in the mountains. It's not a beach place. It's not a beach home. you're never far from the beach anywhere you are in Central America or Central and South America, but it is, it's a mountain town. One of the advantages of that is, now I'm not a water person, so maybe that's one of the reasons this home I'm going to show you appealed to me so much. One of the advantages of that is the weather is perfect all year round. Every day it's 70 to 80 degrees, and at night it drops to around 50 to 60. That's why, as you're going to see, most of the homes have fireplaces. I love that. I love it. Don't worry about air conditioning. You don't need it. And at night you snuggle up, light your fire in the fireplace. It's fantastic. The community, all right? In a minute I'm going to show you a video, but this Cotacachi is one of the most beautiful communities I have ever seen in Central or South America. Look at the park. Look at this town square. Look at the town square. And look at this picture of the homes as you're walking down the street. Folks, you'd think you were in Europe. And look at the mountains in the background there. It is gorgeous. Matter of fact, let's look now at what I think is a section of a video that I think you're really going to enjoy, because it's a little quick. It's about 2 minutes or so, 2 to 3 minutes tour of Cotacachi. And if you're like me, and I think you are, you're going to say to yourself, what an incredible place to live. So, Gary, let's roll it.
Bueno, por supuesto que no los voy a dejar así, ¿no? Aquí está la iglesia, como pueden ver, esa preciosa vista allá atrás. Y bueno, voy a entrar y les comparto un poquito. Espero que no estén en misa para poder sentirme libre de grabar y todo eso. Vamos a ir por aquí. Bueno, ahora sí les llevo a la iglesia. Como pueden ver, miren el diseño que tienen acá. Así se ve esto, como se pueden dar cuenta, todo está muy bonito, muy limpiecito, de verdad. Así se ve esto, demasiado tranquilo, muy tranquilo, muy bonito. Bueno, y así se va bien, se ve desde acá arriba. Les muestro un poquito la vista, cómo se ve. Y así pues. Wow, qué bonito, una hermosura. Bueno, aquí estoy en la iglesia ya. Parece que hay algo, pero está vacío por lo menos. Miren esto, ya les muestro con la cámara frontal, ¿ok? Chévere. Sí, definitivamente cada iglesia es un caso especial, ¿no? Es única realmente. Mira la estructura de esta, por ejemplo. Mira, muy chévere, ¿verdad? Me gustó bastante, muy bonita, bien cómoda, acogedora, pero súper genial. Bueno, también por aquí tenemos algo, no sé qué es esto. Dice Asamblea de Unidad Cantonal Cotacachi. Mira, tiene otro monumento por acá. Y se ve esto que dice Asamblea de Unidad Cantonal Cotacachi. Miren hacia allá. Guay, parece que por detrás hay más.
There you go, folks. I don't think you can find a more peaceful community than that. I mean, the only word is copacetic. Virtually no crime. I mean, I think the worst crime they probably ever have in Cotacachi is somebody dropping their gum wrapper on the ground. I mean, it's just absolutely a gorgeous 8,000 people, the whole town. It's just 8,000 people. So it's a very leisurely lifestyle. Now let's look at the home, okay? Let's look at this home. Let me read you a little about it first. 2 very large bedrooms, each with built-in closets and a fireplace, 2 baths, jacuzzi, shower, and tub, all granite. A sunroom offers a 3rd bedroom option. This is a very, very nice home. We're talking about a home here that is, 2 beds, 2 baths, plus a sunroom, living room, eating area with a fireplace. Once again, the bedrooms have fireplaces. When I'm looking at it, I'm thinking back years ago when I went to Switzerland to meet with Mark Rich, the fugitive financier that I met with years ago. And it was very much, the accommodations were very much like they're describing here. It's almost like kind of like you're in the Swiss Alps in Central America. Just 2 hours from the international airport, 1.5 hours from the beach. Everything you want there. So let's take a look at this home, all right? The condo is here, okay? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? There's the condo. All right. Here you are in your living room area. Look at that. Look at that. With the view of the mountains out the window. Comes furnished, by the way. Comes furnished. Your dining room area. This place is well put together. Look at those beautiful arching windows with a view to die for out of every one of them. Isn't this peaceful? Isn't this peaceful? Isn't this lovely? I know a lot of people are in the kitchens with the granite countertops. This is well built, folks. This is well built. Remember, we're talking $93,000 total. Condo like this could cost you $1 million in the U.S., $700, $800, $900, $1 million in the U.S. Particularly snuggled in a quaint community with that just offers you total peace and a wonderful lifestyle. Okay, wonderful upscale lifestyle. It's an upscale community. One of the bedrooms. Okay, look at the built-in cabinets, mahogany. Oh, we're talking nice, folks. We're talking nice living quarters. Here's the other bedroom, the fireplace in the 2nd bedroom. Snuggle up in the evening, glass of wine, build a fire in your fireplace there. Because remember, it's only 50, 60 degrees outside. You want to have a little recreation, meet with some new friends there at your new community in Cotacachi. Well, there's the clubhouse out your back door. Everybody lives in the condos, private. And finally, here's your view from out your window at night of Cotacachi. What do you think, folks? I mean, I got to tell you, this is an incredible community. I'll tell you somewhere I want you to go to read about it, okay? Go to read about it. Yeah, I love international living. I used to write for them years ago. Great company, great organization, internationalliving.com. Go there and read. They have a great article on Cotacachi, okay? And they simply say it's like paradise on earth, okay? As a matter of fact, they say it's like going back to Mayberry, only you're in South America. So the prices are a third of what they are, a quarter or a third. In Ecuador, they're actually about a quarter of what they are up here. So that means if you're bringing in $2,000 a month, yeah, you can have your home in this condo, okay? You can have your home in that condo, all right? And you see that link up there. Check the link at International Living and read the article. It's fairly long, some good pictures and all, and it really does tell you everything you need to know. And I promise you, everything they tell you is going to have you saying the exact same thing that I said when I saw Cotacachi, Ecuador, and this home, where have you been all my life? I mean, it's that good. It's that good. You can work remote from there if you're young. If you're older, what an incredible place to retire and relax and just enjoy the life you've earned. There's the link. There we go. Right there. Okay. Write it down. Check it out. I think you can see everything I said is right on target. Go to vivian.com. See the right up there. There's your number. There we go. Thank you, Gary. He's always on top of his game. Unbelievable. So there you got it. There you got it. You can't live. You cannot live better than that. You can't. And you're not going to find anywhere to live better than that in the U.S. For one thing, you can't, unless you have a heck of a lot of money set aside, it's pretty tough to afford to live any place like that in the U.S. now. Especially when you figure that, let me show you this. I'm not going to get into this because I'm not doing a Mad Max, but I just want to show you a headline that blew me away and is another reason you got to buy that place I just showed you. Look at that CNS report. Americans now spend more on paying their taxes to the IRS than food, clothing, and health care combined. And Biden just passed the bill to hire 87,000 new armed, computer in one hand, Gatling gun in the other, armed IRS agents to make sure you pay up and in that same bill, the new taxes for you, I just told you pay already more than for food, housing, clothing, et cetera, healthcare. If you make 40 to 50,000 a year, you're going to see those taxes as just described increase. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Make your move. Make your move. Live like a king or queen in Cotacachi. Okay. And to help inspire you to make that move, let's go to our Carib Carter motivation. Okay. It's by this gentleman here. Okay. That's his book. I recommend his book. Can't Hurt Me is one of the best books I've ever read. This guy, David Goggins, some of you know him. So if you know him and say, oh man, he is the toughest guy in the world. Yeah, he is the toughest guy in the world. I mean, he's a Navy SEAL. He's only got to go through Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, and the Air Force equivalent, which I can never remember the name of. All three. And he went through the SEAL boot camp, deadly. I'd die if I even thought of doing that, 3 times. And the last time he finished it with a broken leg. You can't get tougher than that. Yet he was raised in abject poverty. When he decided to join, I got to give you this background before I show you the video, the short little video by him. When he decided to join the Navy SEALs, he weighed 300 pounds. He went to 6 Navy SEAL recruitment offices, and they all said, you know, we really just don't think maybe you're not cut out to be a Navy SEAL, And finally, the 7th said, I'll tell you what, you get down to 190 in 3 months, and I'll let you in. He did it. And ended up being the leader in his hellish, I can't even remember what they call it now, that 30-day period when they just torture those people. And he graduated at the top of his class and became a great leader. And this book will motivate you to do what you think in your life is impossible. This guy runs 200-mile marathons. No, I didn't say 26 mile. I said 200 mile. So, but what gave him the motivation? The same thing that I think when you watch this is going to resonate with you. So Gary, let's roll this 3-minute interview with David Goggins.
Let's wrap with this. In chapter 11, that's the last chapter, right?
Right, last chapter.
And Adam does a wonderful job, sort of narrating and telling the story. But then you broke into this piece that I just like I had such an even deeper appreciation for you, where you're like, look, man, like this visualization about like one day when we all die, right? So would you mind? I mean, I know it's totally in the book.
No, it's fine.
But I think it's a great way to wrap this.
So let's say this, man. So I don't care what you believe in. I'm not judging you. I believe in God.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're atheist. I don't give a damn what you are. But for this scenario,
yes,
let's say that you're God.
Yeah.
Let's say that you guys, you know, for those of you who read my book, get the audio book or the hardcover, whatever, I used to weigh 300 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was 175 in high school and 300 pounds.
Yep.
Let's say that I didn't improve myself at all. I die at 75 years old. I'm 300 pounds. I worked for Ecolab my entire life, making $1,000 a month. That's what I made.
Yeah.
And I go to heaven, and you're God. And you have a big, long line of people. And I'm standing in line, I'm coming up, I'm next. So you have Mary Ann. And Mary Ann, you're talking to her, you're judging her. And I'm like, what the hell does God have in his hand? What's that paper?
Yeah.
And so God tears it away and throws it in the trash can, and Mary Ann goes walking away.
Yeah.
Now, you have a piece of paper in your hand, and I'm next. And God says, sit down, David.
David Goggins.
That's right. David Goggins on top of the paper. And I say, and God gives me the paper. And I look at it. When I'm reading this paper, and on the paper I'm seeing all these amazing things. You were a 185-pound athlete. You ran all these crazy races. You broke records. You were a Navy SEAL. You were the only person to do this, do that, do everything. You had a best-selling book, man. You changed millions of lives. And I look at God, who is you right now, and I say, it says David Goggins up here, which is my name, God, but this isn't me. I'm like, you know, I think you gave me the wrong paper. And God says, no, because God knows all, God sees all. And God looks at me and says, this is what you should have been. This is what you should have been.
Book. Yeah.
This is what you should have been.
Yeah.
You should have been this. We all have a choice in the world.
Yep.
God, or whatever you believe in, knows what you're supposed to be, knows what's inside of you.
Yep.
But most of us take the choice that makes us feel good.
Yep.
We're not willing to break through those barriers to find, because so my whole mindset was this. That's how I visualize. I visualize that one day I will be judged by something much more powerful than me.
Yep.
And my whole thing is, while I'm living on earth, God knows everything about David Goggins. Even God, I want God to be up there with a pen, get another piece of paper saying,
he did what?
I didn't even know he'd do that. I didn't know he'd do this. So I want God to be impressed with how I turn out.
Yeah.
Which means I want to check off every single box of all the possibilities of what I'm supposed to be in life.
Yeah.
Leave nothing to question in my life.
Wow. I tell you, I read that book about a year or so ago, and I read, it's in the book, he describes it, and I've watched 1,000,001 videos by him, so I've heard him tell that story before, and that motivated me, okay? And I wanted to motivate you too. You know, I think, as he says in that video, that God has a special place for you. God has a special role for you. As a matter of fact, I happen to think God has a lot of special places and roles for you. You know, and one of those, I believe, may well be making your move and living a wonderful life offshore, living the exhilarating life offshore where you're free again, okay, where you have enough money to make ends meet and do even more, to help out in causes you believe in, because the cost of living is so low and the Uncle Sam's not there to rip off 40 to 50% of everything. I think God has that place for you. And don't think that, well, I already did everything in my life. I'm too old. You are never too old. I am 76 years old. I own 2 homes in Honduras. I'm going to buy another one soon in Nicaragua, because I know that life in the sun, sand, and surf is so rewarding, so challenging, and it gives you so many opportunities to live your life to its fullest as God intended you to do, as David Goggins says. So, as I tell you every week on Coffee with Carib Carter, let's do this thing.